Good morning. It's Wednesday, June 5th, and I'm going to attempt to tackle the last 3 rows of the dwarfs here in terms of giving the first real update on each individual variety. Try to do a better job with staying focused on the particular plant than I did in the last few. So let's start here with one of the fancies. This is from a fairly recent cross, and I got both potato and regular leaf out of the cross. And this is a flowering example of a regular leaf fancy. Here's one that's very enthusiastically flowering. This is Dwarf chocolate drops. Plant is one of the best looking of the dwarfs. The sepals are long, and you can see the cluster here. An enormous number of flowers, and this has set fruit. Let's see what that tomato looks like down here. Looks like it's at this point the shape of the tomato is somewhat oval, so we'll see what comes of that. This beautiful plant here, a regular leaf dwarf, is one of the peppermint stripe selection, and I'm aiming for a green and pink striped variety that I found last year growing at one of the beauties, and hasn't blossomed yet. It's just starting to show some buds at the very top. Here we have one of the plucky selections. Plucky is going to be one of the dwarf cherries we're working on. This one hasn't been named, and it's regular leaf, and it's from selection number 4102, found last year by one of our volunteers. Here's another fancy. This one had some earlier foliage disease at the bottom that I pulled off. It's a potato leaf selection, and setting some buds at the top. This really healthy, vigorous one here, regular leaf, is a softie. It's an F2, the only F2 dwarf that I found in growing out save seed, and we'll see what comes of that. Here's a different summertime gold reselection. 2 of them last year came out just fine. This one is 12107. Plant looks great, looks typical for a sneezy, and it's budding at the top. These were planted later than some of the ones we looked at yesterday, so they're not quite as advanced. This is my first experience growing out one of the hazy selections. This is regular leaf, and this has purple haze in its parentage, and it's flowering and setting fruit already. And this is a potato leaf selection from hazy that's also flowering and setting fruit. Really pretty plant. This nicely compact regular leaf dwarf here is one I've not grown yet, and it's Waverly. And we've got some flowers that are open in there. This is another one of the dwarfs that had some early foliage issue, but it's looking pretty good. I think this is Deaton's dwarf, a recent named variety, and we've got some nice flower clusters in there. I'll have to get a backup going just in case this one has an issue that shows up later on. Here is another fancy F2 dwarf that's potato leaf, and just starting to show some small buds. This is a beautiful looking plant on the tall side, and it's another plucky selection. It's going to be pretty high yielding. It's flowering like crazy, and this is also from 4102. Like I said, only it's regular leaf. This one that was clearly planted a little bit later is Confetti, and this came out of beauty as well, and what I'm aiming for here is something that's yellow with pink stripes. I found this and named it last year. Here is Dwarf Katydid. This is one that we hope is approaching completion, and it's a regular leaf dwarf that's just starting to bud. expect that to be a little bit later. Here's one that I'm happy to be growing that was discovered last year called Grandpa Gary's Green. This was named by one of our growers, Susan, in Idaho. It's a beautiful plant, has open flowers, it's on the tall side, and looks like it's going to be heavy yielding. And the last one in this row is a fairly compact looking dwarf that is a regular leaf selection of Lucky Swirl. Lucky Swirl is in the Jaunty line, and this should be a large fruited red-yellow bicolor. And it's just starting to show some buds. So that's it for that row. Just to show, this is the row of dwarfs that we just looked at. This is the row of dwarfs yesterday that was in Dwarf Update number 2. And the white bags along the edge that you can see, which are pretty much comprise the dwarfs that are released or most advanced. You can see the white grow bags along the edge. Those comprised the dwarfs I covered in update number 1 from yesterday.